Welcome back to the debrief. I'm here with my boy, Bob. I'm DP. It's been a long time since we've been in the world of Severance.
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years. You actually turned me on to it. I wasn't on game. You put me on game. Started watching it. Fell in love with it. The idea immediately. It's just the right amount of sci-fi, comedy, mystery. The writing is spectacular. It's nothing like we've ever seen before on television. And since you put me on, I've told everybody they need to watch Severance when it comes to Apple TV.
If it's anything like me, no one watches or takes your recommendation, and they don't watch that shit except maybe one person. And they're like, thanks. Hate it. Yeah. But 3 years is too long, and I felt like, in a lot of ways, are we talking about season one? Are we talking about the new episode right now?
Well, let's talk about quick thoughts. Season one. What questions were left lingering after we finished it, and what we kind of expected going into this?
Is she alive? Is Miss Casey alive? What are they doing at Lumen as far as the severed package deal with everybody? Is it just people that are alive, or is it people that are dead, like comatose, fucking people that are ODing, people that are dying in car crashes and whatever the fuck else? Are they taking these people and making them sex slaves at Lumen for waffle parties? We don't know. That's my questions. That's my biggest questions from season one.
My biggest question from season one would probably be, where the fuck do I get a turtleneck like Milchek?
I would say a mustache, but I can grow one of those better than Milchek. So
that's mighty tough talk for a clean lip boy like you, Bob.
Hey, that shit is so clean that it hurts. It hurts. Mr. Milkshake. It hurts.
So obviously when we're talking Severance, we're talking about theories, mysteries, and what the hell's really going on at Lumen Industries, kind of like you just touched on. But, there's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to unpack. Maybe too much for this one initial thoughts episode. So let's jump right in. Why was this episode released a day early?
I think because they knew, and I don't say this to be like that pretentious guy, I've been watching since day one, but I've literally been watching since day one. And for the guys like us who've been watching it since the season one has premiered on a week-by-week release date, it's been a long fucking time. And I know a lot of people are going to say that, oh, man, we've been waiting forever. Most people have been streamed the shit 6 months ago, just got put on, and now they're like, oh, yeah, they've been waiting for shit. Like when you wait 3 years for a show, there comes that point where you almost give up on it, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
You're just like, fuck this. It's not even worth it. And that's kind of, without talking about the actual, like, details of the season 2 episode 1 show, I kind of felt that way at times, like in a roller coaster emotionally for this episode. Like, did they wait too long? Do I give a fuck still? And I'll say that I did. The Mr. Milkshake was funny throughout, but the beginning had me thinking they were working a little bit too far on the comedy side of shit, more so than they ever did in season 1 right away. If you know what I'm saying, when they were introducing the new characters, what was her name? Gwendolyn Y and Mark W.
Yeah, my initial thoughts as the episode started, because it opens up with Mark S, coming through the elevator, and the first question is, who is it? Is it his Audi or is it the Innie? And once it presented a whole new cast, my thoughts immediately went, they waited too long to redo the show, and cast members have left, and it's going to go in some weird direction that they're just going to have to piecemeal together to make money, right? And that was a short-lived assessment. Obviously, they bring in the original cast. I didn't have the same sentiments with regard to they're leaning too much into the comedy part of the show, as maybe like as you just described, but I did feel like this episode was really slow and maybe not as rewarding as I would have hoped, as far as my initial thoughts.
Yeah, I get that. There's nothing that touched on Miss Casey until the very end, and even then, so it's like, what the fuck was it? The Cold Harbor, that was the name of the whatever signal or wherever she's being held at or wherever the fuck. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Cold Harbor. And then I was like, what's up with this 8 to 12-year-old little girl, the deputy manager, Miss Wong? Who the fuck are they doing kids now? That doesn't sound right. Let me reword that. Are they hiring kids now at Lumen? What is
Well,
going on?
here's my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
I do think there are some repercussions that came out from whatever fill in the gap happened in the 6 months between them being exposed. I'm not sure Lumen was exposed. I'm not sure the Innies ever had some big expose or whatever outside of Hilly at the company's gala or whatever they're doing at the end of season 1. Like all the people who were attending that gala likely have some kind of and some vested interest in the corporation moving forward with the Severance
they're mind
project.
fucking them.
So I
They're
could
mind
see
fucking them so bad.
I could see them just continuing to change the charade to manipulate them to keep the program going. So I'm not sure there was any big expose or there's any big changes. That the changes they are doing are just another controlled experiment on the Ennies. And I thought it was really telling. Spoiler alert, big spoiler alert for the fucking episode 1. I think Helly is the outie. I think any Helly was not who they interacted with on the inside. I think that was pretty clear. I think most people would come to the same conclusion.
Holy shit, no, most people wouldn't come to that same. You just blew my mind. I didn't think that at all. I didn't. I didn't think that 1 second of the episode, but that's a good. I like that. But I'm gonna rewatch it too because my dumbass was taking notes and shit. You know, you miss things here and there.
Taking notes or taking
jokes? But probably a little both. But Mark's plea to the board to get his crew back, that shit worked with a little box, with a little speaker box.
See, I think it's supposed to make him think that it worked, right?
Yeah.
They want to know how exposed the actual company is to their little experiment of being the Innies being on the outside. So I'm not sure 6 months did pass as they're trying to convince him passed.
Oh yeah, it could be like a day.
It could literally have just been a day. They wouldn't know the difference, right? I think that conversation that Helly had with Mark towards the end of the episode in the hallway, when she's convincing him like, hey, that woman's not your wife, you know, who we are on the outside is a completely different person than who we are on the inside. It was like a tell to me. To me, it was pretty obvious. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I think this was all set up to get them all back together to figure out what they did while they're on the outside.
Yeah,
so they can
absolutely. You know, you're absolutely right, and I feel like a dumbass for not seeing that now that you put it that way. But you know, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, because they're fishing for information. Even Milchick was like, "Feel free to talk in the break room. There's no, you know, you're not being recorded here. We value your privacy. Fuck out of here."
Because they got a mole.
Yeah, they for sure got a. I think it's probably that. What's her name? Gwendolyn. It's Gwendolyn.
Yeah, but Gwendolyn's not there anymore.
She'll be there again. They're not going to introduce them for 1 episode. They'll be there again.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. But why would Gwendolyn be the mole?
Because
Helly's the mole.
Helly
is the mole
for sure. It's gonna be Helly. And you see that Milchick is working on Dylan right now too. He's working on his ass.
He's got leverage.
Keep this secret.
Yeah, it's just it's a carrot dangling in front of him because it's a reward, right? Because he kept Irving from walking out of the building.
Yeah. Irving should have walked out though. I thought he was going to.
Now, when it comes to what is the new manager's the child? What's her name again? Deputy Wong. I think that's just another experiment of using the severance process on children, and she's there as a control. I thought her answer as to why she was a child was hilarious during the
since I was born. Yeah. You know what? She's funny. She's a good little actor, but it's super weird that they would have a little kid severed in their workplace. But I mean, I get it.
That's weird. That's what's weird about Lumen is having a little kid,
I mean,
not the
really
waffle party. not the cultish allegiance to Kerr or Kier.
The waffle. Did you notice his little flying animation? That was so great. I laughed out loud.
Yeah.
That was
I,
awesome.
I laughed with the when the building was animated and talking about them running down the hall. Don't run in my hallways. It tickles.
Yeah, it tickles me. No, what the fuck, dude? That's such a weird. It reminded me of that South Park episode with Walmart. That painting when they come up when they come up the elevator and it says
foreheads.
Kier pardons his betrayers, and that's when they're all back together. I noticed that. That's when they first all get back together. Kier pardons his betrayers, and then they're all back together. So he that was after Mark said his shit. So I think it's part of it. It's the social experiment, and then it's also like the godlike mentality of this Kier guy that looks like a fucking Minecraft character.
I'm really curious as to what actually occurred at the conclusion of season 1, and I think that we'll get breadcrumbs of that throughout the season 2. As far as how did Mark's family respond, to him just yelling she's alive, and then imagine him becoming his outie again, snapped in a moment. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on, but he just had this whole dramatic announcement to everybody in the room, like, or do they perceive him as crazy? Like, that's interesting. And then what happened to Miss Cobel? I think she's still part of the organization.
Yeah, because she kind of saved the day, and they were trying to hint that she's fired. I fucking doubt it. She probably got promoted. She probably got promoted. She's probably part of the board, I'd imagine. And just imagine being Mark S. and like not knowing you're just a single guy, and then all of a sudden, like, you realize you got this fucking hot ass wife, and you don't know where she's at. That would fucking drive you nuts, right? What the hell? Miss Casey was hot, and they're just gonna kill her off. Pieces of shit.
She's not gone. She's not gone. What I think would be interesting is if they reintroduce Miss Cobel as a severed character, like as conditions for her re-entry into the corporation.
What if she already was, even though they said that she wasn't, and Milchick?
I mean, she clearly wasn't severed in season 1.
She had too many. She was too good at so many personalities. Oh, Ma.
No, but it was all the same underlying motivation. Like, as far as her watching what's going on and kind of manipulating people, she definitely wasn't severed in season 1.
I'm wondering if, like, never mind. It's just the road that I want. It's not a good one.
Do it.
It's not a good one. It's not a good one. But I wonder, like, the order that they had. What was the order? It was Dylan, Irving, and then Helly. Is that the order in season 1 that he met everybody? Because I don't remember that. It was that one guy that he met, right?
I don't recall.
Who
was the guy in the suit when Mark asked at the beginning of the episode, runs into the meditation room? You see a guy in the back in the hallway in a suit. You don't see his face. You just see the silhouette of his body, and you could tell that he's watching Mark, and then he ducks back behind the wall. Did you catch that?
Well, what point of the episode was this in?
The beginning of the episode, when Mark was running through the halls and he finds his way to the meditation room and realizes that everything is gone. If you look far back and the
that
frame
was Milchick.
No, it was not Milchick.
No, it was Milchick, but he's black, so from far away you can't really see details in his face.
No, it was a dude in a blue suit with a white shirt and a tie, and you could see his hand, you couldn't see his face.
But even his hand was very black, and you could see like a blue suit, but it was a black background, so it looked like a ghost because he was so dark, like Milchick.
Milchick
I didn't
is a
see
white
that.
man.
I'm gonna have to Google that shit because I did not see that, and I doubt Google will even have it.
Did you see the little Times Square thing they did? They set up the Severance cast in Times Square.
Yeah, in that little box.
Yeah. What do you think
Little
that's about?
box.
Just advertisement?
Yeah, or maybe that was like a part of the the show. Like they had to go out and be in front of people to show the severed experience, and they had them act inside the bubble while people like us were outside looking outside the bubble. I could see something like that too.
Potentially. So what do you think? Is the show going to be recurring on Thursdays now then, or is it going to be Fridays? Or maybe they surprise us with a 2-episode premiere and there'll be an episode tomorrow.
I think that would be awesome, but it says that the second episode is going to be out on the 20, whatever the fuck,
24th.
24th. And
I said the first episode on the 17th. Today's the 16th.
yeah, but I got to believe them. I think they were just trying to get our dicks wet before Martin Luther King Day. Because, fun fact, Ben Stiller loves Martin Luther King.
Oh, I thought you were going to say fun fact. MLK was an adulterer.
He was an adulterer. But you know what? I would say the overwhelming percentage of men probably have committed adultery at one point back then. There was no cell phones. You couldn't be tracked. You could have two families in two different towns. No one would fucking know.
So you're saying you're of the belief that there's no integrity in it. If opportunity presents itself, most people are going to take advantage of it. Is that what you're asserting?
Do you drive on the road every day?
I do drive.
How do most people drive when they have an opportunity to get into a space that they think is open?
Most people drive too slow.
Or they in California where I'm at, how do they drive in California?
The land of heathens.
Yeah, they're pieces of shit out here. But the first episode of season 2, I didn't think it was that bad. I think I'm 50-50. I'm torn on it. And I want to clarify something real quick on the comedy aspect. I think it was like a 5-minute portion that I thought was a little bit too much comedy, but I don't remember a 5-minute portion of comedy in the first season at all. And that's what I thought was a little different. But they eventually roped back into their rhythm. I get it. 2.5 years is a long time off. You know, you gotta get back on the horse, and then you gotta fuck the horse. It doesn't let you just fuck it right away. You gotta foreplay that shit. You know.
Like I said, if I'm being honest, I was a little bit underwhelmed. I still have hope for the rest of the season. I'm not banning anything. I'm not trying to shit on it. It does take a lot. It takes the right kind of spacing and the crafting. I thought the opening sequence in and of itself of Mark running through the hallways of like a long maze, I got kind of captivated trying to think like logically how they would have filmed that, and they would have had to pre-map a running route throughout that maze to make it appear larger than it actually is, doubling back, going around corners, flipping, running the same loops to give the illusion of a vast maze of white, uninteresting walls and doors. But I thought that was a good opening. I thought the episode overall was a bit overwhelming. There wasn't a lot learned. There wasn't a lot revealed. But hey, I'm tuning in, and I hope you tune in.
And that's because because Cobel was in it. Let's be honest, Cobel is one of the best fucking characters.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate for me. I just think they're probably
Cobel can get that dick. She's amazing. Kidding me? Patricia Arquette, I see you. I see you.
Well, guys, this has been us. Back at it. We'll be here every week, every episode, talk about Severance. Put some comments in there. We'll try to make sure we're a little bit more in depth with the breakdowns from here on out. But honestly, there's not a lot to talk about in episode 1.
Yeah.
One half of it was just dealing with new people, and then immediately going back to the old people. So,
and I'm not kidding you. When you guys watch it, we literally talked about everything. That's how boring that episode 1 was. Like, I took notes on everything. We talked about everything.
So join us each week as we watch each week. Thank you, guys. Peace.
Stay black.